I've been a MrBeast fan since the beginning, but something about his most recent thumbnail just doesn't seem to vibe with what we've come to expect when seeing a new MrBeast video. When looking at the thumbnails MrBeast channel usually puts out, it's just something off about this new low effort. Now, of course, it could be that we all notice this because MrBeast is intentionally trying something different with his thumbnails. Thumbnails, after all, are all about psychology, and who knows how much money he puts in to developing the perfect thumbnails. With everything we've been doing on the channel the last month or so revolving around artificial intelligence and all of the different new broad use cases for it, I figured, hey, knowing everything I do about the possibilities and limits of artificial intelligence, maybe I should take this as an opportunity to try and rework MrBeast's most recent thumbnail using artificial intelligence. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Using an AI tool that we talked about in the very last video, Midjourney AI, we are going to see what we can create using artificial intelligence that will replicate without being the exact same thing as MrBeast's thumbnail. So I headed over to Midjourney and got started. Now in this, I was trying to think of how I could rework this thumbnail. What exactly goes into it? What are the keywords or defining factors in this video that you're going to want to convey through the thumbnail in a manner that will get someone to click on it? CTR is God of YouTube. It's click-through rate. Basically, how many people see your thumbnail actually click on it. The first idea I had is, what if there's an assassin standing on a rooftop looking down over a city with a gun that's way too big for him, and down there we have MrBeast doing one of his normal reactions, because his face is on every single thumbnail, and why wouldn't it be? If someone sees a new MrBeast video, they're gonna click on it. That, however, brought out something like this, and it's not really what I wanted to go for, as where would I put MrBeast? If I put him way up front, it seemed like he was, well, in front of the assassin, and I just didn't like the way that layout looked. I tried it. Here, it looks something like this. And I also didn't want to put him way in the background in the city, basically for the same thing. The layout or the composition of the thumbnail, it just looked too wonky. I mean, tell me what you think. I wasn't vibing with it, my friend. It was not working for me, so we decided to go a different route. Now, looking at what MrBeast already had for his thumbnail, we can see it's a simple crosshairs of a sniper scope with a little bit of a landscape backdrop that's blurred, and of course, the notorious Jimmy himself posing central frame. So the first thing I did is I want to look for a sniper scope. So the crosshairs of a sniper scope, back over to Midjourney, and we are looking for just that. Now, when I entered that into Midjourney, it spit out these two. At least of the four that it spit out, these two I felt were the best. Now I had to mess around a little bit, and this is when we're going to be using a free tool called remove.bg or remove background. It's, you can probably guess, a background removal tool, and we're also going to be using Canva, a free Canva. You don't need a paid edition of Canva to do anything I'm doing here. Now, I opted for the first one, probably the one that was on that side of the screen there for you, as I just liked what I could do with it more. So we're going to take that and go over to remove.bg, plug that in, and see what it spits out. I'm hoping it spits out just the sniper scope itself. And there we have it, it did that. Now, I did run into an issue, however, when I went over to Canva and actually started layering these. So we have the original image and then Jimmy's cutout from remove.bg and then the sniper scope on top of that. It didn't look good because you could see the shoulders and part of the chest, and I didn't want that. So back to remove.bg, I actually used the restore tool to restore the bottom of that final overlaid layer, if you want to say that final layer. I just added the bottom back in. Now, when I went back to Canva and re-layered those on top of each other, they looked much better, but I needed one more thing. I want the crosshair to be on top of Jimmy, which means I have to put it on top of Jimmy, but right under that final layer. So we just took a couple of lines and slap right there. We now have our image. I messed around a little bit with the sharpness of certain parts and the saturation or tint and temperature of other elements in this photo, but here you have it. This is the thumbnail that I reworked for MrBeast. Now honestly, I did all of this in under 10 minutes, which is extremely impressive as I also didn't spend any money. Considering the time, effort, and, well, money that goes into each of MrBeast's thumbnail, I think it's a pretty good job. When considering 10 minutes, absolutely no money, and no hiring, well, there you go, versus what might have been a couple $100 and an hour or two for an actual professional thumbnail designer to create. By no means am I trying to talk down on whoever it is that creates thumbnails for MrBeast's channel. They truly are a genius, not only in understanding YouTube, but understanding market psychology and consumer psychology. Understanding what makes someone click is a much deeper process than you might think on the surface. If you're interested in the possibilities around or the potential in artificial intelligence, especially when it comes to graphic design, check out this video right here on Midjourney AI. It's a full tutorial for the beginner, and it's also a huge prompt list for the advanced users as well.